Hey, welcome to the Micheaux Mission, 2 Men, 1 podcast. Every black film ever made. My name is Len, aka the Bat Tribble. And as always, I'm joined by my partner.
Hey, this is Vincent Williams.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be presenting Vincent's selection for this stop on the mission. And he has jumped back into, again, his favorite cinematic decade of the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Right to the beginning of the 70s, actually.
Right to the beginning. And we can argue whether or not this feels like a 70s because it's right at the beginning of the 70s.
It is very much at the beginning of the 70s, 1970s, the liberation of L.B. Jones.
Yes.
That's going to be the film that we review tonight as we stream live via StreamYard to Facebook as well as YouTube. Shout out to everyone out there in the chat who are welcoming us, including Deborah Battle and Aaron Fry, Robert Monroe Jr. Excuse me. About to call him Mick Rowe.
Don't call him that.
I'm not going to do that. That would be a misnomer.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Good evening, one and all.
Good evening to all of you. Good evening, Vincent. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm cold, chilling, maxing, and relaxing.
You look relaxed, brother.
Yeah, well, you know.
You do it, and you do it so well.
Well, look, I'm very excited. It's Micheaux night.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. So.
I've never called it Micheaux night.
Yeah, well, you know.
It's Micheaux night.
It's Micheaux night. So. And yourself?
I'm doing very well. I have no complaints, actually.
Good to hear.
I had a good cheeseburger for lunch.
All right.
So I'm doing very well. Thank you. All right. So before we get into the proceedings, ladies and gentlemen, I want to take a moment to thank each and every one of you that were able to make it out to City Winery this past Saturday.
Yes.
Vincent and I held a live podcast and a screening of The Outside Story. It was a very nice event.
It was very nice. Shout out to the City Winery.
Shout out to City Winery. They were top notch. I like it. Who was telling me something like they never ate. They never liked cauliflower until they got to City Winery.
Yeah.
And they had some cauliflower.
Yeah.
I don't know whether or not the red wine following had anything to do with it, but they love the cauliflower at City Winery.
Wine tends to make everything taste better.
I've found that to be true. Mm-hmm. And shout out to, like I said, everyone that came out. And if you were there and I missed it, I apologize, but definitely want to give a special nod to Micheaux missionary Sharon Eldridge.
Hey, Sharon, in real life.
In real time. She was there, and she actually brought friends with her.
Yes, she did.
To the mission, so that was pretty dope. It was kind of cool, Vince. When I came into City Winery for the event, there was a gentleman who was walking in front of me, who came through the door in front of me. So he was standing in front of me because I had to get some information.
Sure.
And I saw off my peripheral Sharon, but I didn't know it was Sharon.
Right.
Stand up from like across the room and start walking towards me.
Right.
So I'm thinking, oh, this must be like the rep that I was supposed to be looking for.
Or it's about to go down.
Or yes. Yeah. Or it's about to go down. But as she gets up closer, she says, Len? I was like, yes. And I'm thinking, I was like, Helen, the person I'm supposed to be contacting. Right. No, Sharon Eldridge. I was like, because she took down her mask. She had a face mask on.
Right, of course.
And I was like, Sharon, oh my God. And then she started to go reaching for the guy that was in front of me. Vincent? I was like, no, that's not.
Right. No.
That's not Vincent.
No, not yet.
Vincent is
the stunt double. Stunt double.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Vincent, but it was really cool seeing her there.
Appropriately enough, since he shows up in here, you ever think about the stunt man for Lee Majors' character on The Fall Guy?
I've never taken a moment to think about that.
Like you wonder what his like The Fall Guy is a whole TV show about stuntmen.
Yes,
and how they aren't really acknowledged.
Mm-hmm.
But then the star of The Fall Guy, Lee Majors,
yes,
would have to have his own stuntman.
Well, yes.
I just like I wondered what that was like. Like what What's his life like that I'm on a show that celebrates the unsung heroes of Hollywood, but I myself am unsung because the person depicting my job isn't doing his own stunts. I'm doing the stunts for him.
Well, think about it. See, I don't ever think about that. That's interesting. That is an interesting.
Certainly you've thought about that. I can't be the only person who's thought about the Fall Guy's Fall Guy.
Well, considering that a couple of minutes ago was the past, yes, Vincent, I have sometimes in the past thought about this.
The Fall Guy's Fall Guy.
Do you feel better now?
I do. I do feel better, actually.
But what I have thought about,
okay,
and perhaps you have shared this thought,
okay,
was stars who have, the glamour of being big action stars,
right,
or big fighters,
right,
and then their stunt double comes in and actually does the heavy work,
right.
You know what I mean? Now I've thought about that because you can, as opposed to a lot of Asian artists like Jackie Chan or Bruce Lee or Jet Li,
right,
where you can see they do the majority of their stunts. Jackie Chan famously did all of his stunts.
Sure.
But they do the majority of their stunts and their fights, probably up until a point where insurance says, no, you're not doing this.
Sure,
right?
Sure.
However, cut to a Sylvester Stallone movie, Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, and even as much as we have championed him, Wesley Snipes movie, you can see the stunt person coming in and doing the real heavy lifting. They're the real fighter. They're the person that should actually have the acclaim of being this big action star.
Sure. Especially since it's an action movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely.
And especially when you consider, and I got to give him props for this, somebody like Tom Cruise, 5 foot nothing of Tom Cruise,
right,
does all his own stunts.
It is as much as insurance allows.
As much as insurance
right,
allows.
because as you said, there does come a point
mm-hmm.
where insurance steps in.
Right. Yeah. So like to me, like as much as like people want to cape for Sly and Arnold, and yeah, they were cool.
Right.
I got to give more props to people like Tom Cruise.
Right.
You know? So that's what I thought. Something to think about. You never know where the conversation will take you.
Look, man.
When you're on the Micheaux mission.
I'm not even going. I'm not even going to start about. I was trying to remember. Was that Lee Majors who sang the theme song to the Fall Guy?
He did.
Right.
He did. He famously did sing the because he saw himself like the Fall Guy, which was his follow up to the $6 Million Man.
Yes.
But the Fall Guy, while the $6 Million Man, he was cast in that.
Yeah.
The Fall Guy, that was a Lee Majors production.
That was his baby.
that was
his baby. He burst into his agent's office. He said, Sal, I got a pitch for you.
I mean, he said, I got a pitch.
I got the project.
To make this happen.
Right, because I'm Lee Majors.
I'm Lee Majors.
Right.
Damn it.
Right.
And I want to be the
I wonder if he was
guy.
a producer on The Bionic Woman. It seems like he would have been a producer. It
You
seems like he would have got a cut of that.
You would think that he would have finagled his way to get a cut of that. However, he probably finagled his way to get a cut of the $6 Million Man, right?
Sure. I mean, maybe.
Well,
had he really done anything before that? Like, I know he was on one of those cowboy. He was on like one of the cowboy shows, I thought.
Yeah, one of the westerns.
Yeah,
but he wasn't like the man.
Right. And I know that the $6 Million Man is what he.
That's what made him a star.
Right. So he may not have gotten a producer credit unless he renegotiated
probably in later years.
Yeah,
probably like in the last 2 years.
Well, they saying slow down. How many years was it on?
I think it was on about a good 5.
There's no way the $6 Million Man was on 5 years.
You don't think it was on 5 years?
I honestly don't. I thought it was 3.
Oh no, it was more than 3.
I was gonna go with 3.
It was more than 3. It may have only been 4, but I somehow think
you are correct, sir.
It was 5 years.
From 1973 to 1978, 5 seasons.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are 100 episodes of the $6 Million Man
syndication.
and 6 TV movies.
Yeah. Now, how long did the Bionic Woman?
Now, that only ran for 2 years.
That was only 2 years?
76 to 78.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I would have sworn that ran for longer because she actually won an Emmy Award for the Bionic Woman.
Did she win an Emmy
She
for
did.
the Bionic Woman?
She won an Emmy Award. Lindsay Wagner.
We didn't plan any of this, but this is all
Very fascinating.
amazingly interesting to me.
Yeah. She. You know what? Quick aside. I think it's very cool that you just mentioned that, how we never planned for this.
Mm-hmm.
My girlfriend, on the way home from the event on Saturday,
Yeah.
she was like, I really liked it. I really loved it. But I feel bad for everyone. I was like, why? She's like, because what I really like about your show is just when you and Vince just sit there and talk.
Just sit there and talk.
And y'all didn't have the time to talk.
They didn't have the time
They
to
missed
talk.
that.
Aw.
I wanted y'all to just talk.
Right. Well, now here we go. Now
Here we
we're
go.
Now we're
Baby, this is for
we're
you.
10 minutes into a conversation about the $6 Million Man and the Bionic Woman and everything that went along with that. Yeah, there's no way I thought the Bionic Woman ran longer than 3. I can't believe the Bionic Man ran 5 years.
Yeah, I said, yeah, because
I am shocked it ran that
Lindsay
long.
Wagner probably doesn't. Now it makes sense. She doesn't get talk of her spinoff until after his 3rd year. She's not introduced until the 2nd year.
Right.
And then, you know, the fan response is so great that they have to bring her back. I think they bring her back for a couple of episodes in the 3rd year.
I did not. I don't think I knew this. I don't think I was aware of the slow rollout.
Yeah.
Of the Bionic
And
Woman.
I think maybe if she shows up 2 or 3 times in that 3rd year, whatever that last appearance is basically
The pilot.
The pilot.
Yeah.
For the Bionic Woman.
Yeah, I was so young when the Bionic
Yeah.
Man and the $6 Million Man was on. A lot of my memories are from reruns.
No, I feel you.
So
I
I do remember being, you know, in my mind, the $6 Million Man is the greatest disappointment from credits to actual show in the history of television.
You mean in
like the credits raise your expectations.
Okay.
So much.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you get to the show is amazingly pedestrian.
It is. Well, I mean, that's what happens, man.
Yeah.
Think of how many, I hate to say that, you know, continue along this tangent, but think of how many, I can take this to animation.
Right.
How many animation credits look bonkers, bananas, and then you get to the show and it's like, wah, wah.
Yeah,
Happens
absolutely.
all the
But you know.
Oh, and the Western he was on was Big Valley. Thank you, Aaron.
Yeah. I remember he had a bit part on a Western
Mhm.
before the $6 Million Man.
Yep, that was a claim to fame. And all this Lee Majors talk, ladies and gentlemen, while it may sound like just some, you know, non sequitur, it actually is germane because Lee Majors is a star in the liberation of Elton Jones.
He is indeed. So there you go.
So we are still on brand.
But I'll say, be glad we're talking about Lee Majors. We could have sat here and talked about Barbara Hershey.
Well, okay. That's a shame. That is such a shame. That is such a shame. Oh, we'll talk about
That conversation wouldn't have been anywhere as interesting
No, it
as this
wasn't.
one.
No, it wasn't. It's interesting. All right, so let's get.
Or one of the Nicholas brothers. No. The other one.
Here's the crazy thing.
That's what he should have said in the credits. And one of the Nicholas brothers. Pause. No. The other one. I was like, he looks vaguely familiar,
Right? I was saying the same thing.
but I don't really recognize him.
I know. And then you realize, oh,
He's one of the Nicholas brothers. No. The other one. He's like sitting over there, Gregory Hahn's brother.
I,
And Oates.
wait a minute, that's a shame. You didn't even say Oates' brother. You just said
Just
Ed Oates.
Oates. Just Oates. It's like, no. It's one of Nicholas brothers. No. The other one. Yeah. He's sitting over there with Gregory Hahn's brother and Oates.
Okay.
All
right.
We should probably do some.
Here's the other thing. We got here talking about the Academy Awards.
Yes.
And Angela Bassett, who was nominated for Academy Award
Yes,
for Best Supporting
sir.
Actress for Wakanda Forever.
Yes.
Also nominated.
So happy for her.
Also nominated for Academy Award, Ruth E. Carter.
Yes, sir.
For costume design.
And if she doesn't win, I can't wait to see the movie of the designer that does win.
Me too. But going back to Angela Bassett, I don't know about you. Actually, you said you didn't see this coming. I kind of saw this coming because she has been like the flower of the queen of the ball.
Sure.
In some award season so far.
Yeah.
So I kind of like saw this coming, and because her performance in Wakanda Forever is so striking, and she probably there's probably two scenes. You can pull two scenes from that movie that you would, submit for your consideration.
Sure.
So
let's be crystal clear. And if anyone has been listening to me talk about the Oscars over the years, they know what I'm about to say. My saying I didn't think Angela Bassett was going to get nominated was more a reflection of what I think about the Oscars than what I think about Angela Bassett. Course. And quite honestly, I didn't think enough voters would have watched Wakanda Forever.
Oh, now see, I disagree with you.
Yeah, I hear you. But again, the Oscar members are notorious and well documented throughout the years that they don't watch stuff.
That is true. However,
especially black stuff.
However, two things are also true. While probably not near as much to what we would like, they have, if only for public relations sake, gone out their way to change a lot of the demographics of the Oscar voting community.
Sure.
So that it looks a lot more democratic and looks a lot closer to the demographics of the United States. So there's that.
Okay, absolutely. Yes, there's been some work done.
The other thing is that Black Panther Wakanda Forever, is probably the only Marvel movie outside of maybe the Infinity Gauntlet, and that's just because of the way of the story behind that. But it's the only Marvel movie that has leaped outside of the Marvel zeitgeist, so that almost people, regardless of what you think of superhero movies, are aware of it, have an appreciation for the story behind it, with Chadwick Boseman and everything of that nature, and are more inclined to definitely go and see that movie, as opposed to the nomination that you thought was going to happen for Viola Davis, for lead actress in The Woman King.
Yes.
And I can see a lot of people missing out on that film as opposed to Wakanda Forever.
And let's be clear, when I thought Viola Davis, I also kind of thought that Gina Prince Bythewood would get a nod for director.
Yeah, see, but again,
like I was actually, quite honestly, I kind of thought Viola Davis would get a nomination, but I would have bet money that Gina Prince Bythewood was going to get one. See, I would have put money on that.
Yeah, see, I wouldn't, because I don't think if you give her a Best Director nod and then don't give The Woman King a nomination for
picture,
best picture, then you're opening yourself up to controversy as to.
I mean, quite honestly, it wouldn't. It's like what, 7 pictures now or so that are nominated for best picture. 10. Yeah, I kind of thought Woman King would have gotten a nomination.
I mean,
you're right.
Mhm.
And I actually thought that, like, I honestly thought The Woman King was going to get, they were going to throw him a Best Picture nomination. I never thought it would have won. I just thought they would throw him a nomination. I thought Gina Prince Bythewood would get one, a nomination, wouldn't necessarily win, but get nominated. And then I thought Viola Davis would have been a real contender.
Actually, see, the way I would have seen that,
and for them to get nothing, I was like, wow, am I reading this right?
For me, if they were going to throw a nomination to The Woman King, which, to be honest, with no reflection on The Woman King, I love the movie, but just because trying to get a window into their thinking, if they were going to throw a nomination there, it would have been to Viola Davis for Best Actress, because there's tons of times people are nominated for Best Actor or Actress or even supportings,
and they don't get
films that don't necessarily get the bigger recognition. I would have seen them throwing a nomination to Viola Davis, or maybe even Lashana Lynch in the supporting role, but you're not going. But if you throw it to Lashana in there, then you're splitting the vote with Angela. Right. So I didn't see that happening, but that's the one I would have seen happen.
Well, it's all academic.
It's all academic. So,
but
it's cool. I'm happy. I'm happy for them, and I hope that Angela brings home the nod. She's long overdue.
Yeah, and this is the Micheaux mission, not the Kurosawa mission, but will be the Kurosawa mission for 1 second and say everything, everywhere, all at once. I'm very happy for all the nominations it got.
Oh yeah, most definitely, and I actually think that might run the table.
I think it might run the table, and obviously, I'm happy for Michelle Yeoh because we're Michelle Yeoh, but Stephanie Sue in supporting actress, super happy for her. We talked about and his name just slipped my mind.
Oh, Ben, do you still have the nominations up there?
Well, of course not, because that'd be too much like
you just had them.
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Ke Huy Quan.
Yes.
Yeah, Ke Huy Quan, really pulling for him as well.
Yeah,
he's a good story.
Yeah, I'm really happy, and I hope that I actually hope they run the table.
Yeah,
yeah. And it the beauty of it is that it would not be a surprise for them to win Best Film, because Parasite won a couple years ago.
And it's looking at the best films, it's
the picking's a little,
or it's just as good as like, it's not like it's just in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's ambitious, it's audacious, it's big. So it actually is on brand if it does win.
Most certainly.
So, but congrats to all.
All right.
Hope when contract negotiations come around, gets people more money.
Oh, I'm sure their rate will go up.
Hey, man, I hope.
I'm sure their rate will go up.
All right.
All right, let's keep it moving, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to keep this train running, and that means it is time for the top five.
Top five. Who's your top five? My top five is. My top five is. My top five is. My top five.
Top five, ladies and gentlemen, where I come up with a top five list that Vince adds his scintillating commentary to. And tonight, pulling from our film, The Liberation of L.B. Jones, I am looking at the top five Lolas.
Oh.
In honor of Lola Falana.
Introducing Lola Falana.
Who was introduced, one of several introductions in the Liberation of L.B. Jones.
Yeah, very nice.
But some would say the biggest introduction, and some would say, and I believe they will be right, and my research has shown that Lola Falana is definitively the most famous Lola in the world of all time.
Well, I guess I was about to, are these real Lolas? Like, I'm trying to think of all the Lolas.
Well,
but here we go.
Well, there you go. And there's the rub.
All right, so who we got?
There's the rub with
so
the
now,
Lolas.
All right, so I know a Lola that I think will show up. Go ahead.
Because I tried to find real Lolas.
Right.
And not only is Lola Falana the most famous Lola of all time,
Mm-hmm.
she may quite possibly be the only famous Lola.
The only famous. Okay.
Not saying that there aren't Lolas of note
Sure.
from real life,
Sure.
but their level of fame may vary.
Sure.
So therefore,
Mm-hmm.
I had to dip into a more fictional world of Lolas.
Okay, who we got?
Who Lola Falana still outshines.
Outshines.
But these are famous Lolas nevertheless.
Okay.
Beginning with Vincent, number 5.
Okay.
Lola from Damn Yankees.
Okay.
From the Broadway musical Damn Yankees. Are you familiar with that?
I'm not familiar with Damn Yankees at all. I've heard the name.
You're not familiar, but
I've never seen it. I don't know anything about it. I know it's a thing.
oh wow, I would have thought. Well, I guess you're not you wouldn't consider yourself a theater kid.
No, I'm not a theater kid.
Okay,
I like what I like.
all right.
But is someone named Lola in Damn Yankees?
Well, yes. There's a famous song that comes from the Broadway musical Damn Yankees. Whatever Lola wants,
Is that
Lola
where that
gets.
comes from?
Yes, that is exactly where that comes
Interesting.
from. Yes.
It's a good song.
Whatever Lola wants, Lola gets.
All right, Lola.
Yes. Damn Yankees, which was written in 1958 by George Abbott and Stanley Donen.
I just learned it's that old just now.
Based on the 1954 novel The Year the Yankees Lost the Pennant. The storyline is a take on the Faust legend and centers on the New York Yankees and Washington Sentinels baseball team. That's what the musical Damn Yankees is.
Okay, and whatever Lola wants is from that.
Yes.
All right, number 5.
So that is the number 5 famous Lola.
Okay.
Number 4
Number 4.
is Lola from the Broadway musical Kinky Boots.
Wait, who's Lola in Kinky Boots?
Ah.
I saw the movie Kinky Boots. I don't remember a thing about it.
Really?
Isn't Chiwetel Ejiofor in that in the movie?
I've never seen the movie. I've actually never seen the play. I had tickets to go see the play, and I didn't make it out there. I only know that it's written by. Didn't Cyndi Lauper have something to do with the music or something? Yeah, she did the music in it.
Yeah, Chiwetel Ejiofor is in it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, based on the 2005 British film Kinky Boots. The musical tells the story of Charlie Price having inherited a shoe factory from his father. Charlie forms an unlikely partnership with cabaret performer and drag queen Lola to produce a line of high-heeled boots and save the business.
Yeah.
So the drag queen is Lola.
Right. That's actually the character that Ejiofor plays.
Oh wow, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Spoiler: he's really good in it.
Okay, he's good in. Is the film good?
I don't remember anything about the film.
Okay.
I just remember he was good in it.
Okay.
So yeah.
Well, he was Lola.
Yeah.
All
All right.
Fine job.
All right.
And he's our number 4.
All right.
Number 3
Number 3.
is another fictional Lola.
Okay.
This is Lola
Okay.
from Barry Manilow's
There it is.
Copacabana.
There it is. She was a showgirl.
That is absolutely correct. Her name was Lola.
Yes, she was.
She was a showgirl.
Yes, she
With
was.
a yellow feather in her hair. And dress hung up the hair. Or something.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. An epic saga. shots rang out. But the question was, who shot who?
That's right.
At the Copacabana.
Yeah.
It was a flash forward, and it had turned into a disco.
So that was the Lola you were waiting for?
What did she lose? I know she lost her love.
She lost her.
She lost something.
Man, don't make.
But did she lost her mind?
Vincent, don't make me sing this song.
At the Copa.
We cannot afford.
I know, but it is an epic saga.
We cannot afford.
The Copacabana is an epic saga. As a child, I would be on the edge of my seat every time that song came on,
Really?
as if I didn't know what was going to happen.
So, first of all, I'm surprised that you were such a big fan of this song.
This song is bananas.
I was never.
That's the only Lola I was thinking of. When you said famous Lolas, I was like, well, clearly we're going to do Lola from Copacabana. I don't even know who else it is. Oh, I'm gonna listen to that when this show is over. That's a good ass song.
Really? I mean, it's all right.
The storytelling is amazing.
Okay. All right.
All right, go ahead.
Are you a Barry Manilow fan? Are you on a low or Barry Manilow?
Fan is very strong. Like I say, I'm a fan of somebody if I could go to a concert. But you know, Copacabana, Mandy, and I might be like, I'm sure
I'm tapped out.
Like I'm sure it's probably two more songs that someone would say, and I'd say, oh yeah, I like that too. But yeah, I'm not a Barry Manilow fan. But I really like Mandy, and I really like the Copacabana.
But let me ask you though.
Okay. And I feel like maybe he writes. Like I think there's some songs.
He certainly probably.
There's some songs that he's written that I really like. Yeah.
If you were given free tickets to see Barry Manilow,
oh, no doubt, absolutely, no question,
you would go.
Right, and what we always say in my house, like free tickets actually comes with strings attached, because that means does that mean you're gonna get childcare? Are you going to leave the house? Exactly. Like dinner and drinks. And for Barry Manilow, absolutely.
I think I would.
Is
too.
he dead? Okay, yeah. I'd absolutely see Barry Manilow. No, I would pay up to $50 a ticket to go see Barry Manilow.
Okay, then you won't be seeing Barry Manilow.
Well, I know I won't be. We're just, I have like we have these levels in my house. Like, how much would you pay to? And it's
he's on the $50 tier.
He's on the $50 tier.
Okay.
So like, I would spend $50 a ticket and everything else with childcare and getting dressed and leaving the house, and because again, leaving the house,
that's big.
Like that's a bar to clear right there.
That's
leaving the house.
Very true. You're absolutely right. All right, number 2, Vincent.
Number 2.
The movie from 1998.
Yeah.
Run Lola Run.
Oh yeah.
Because I was running out of Lolas.
You're running out of Lolas.
Now the movie Run Lola Run, which I know in my head, like I know is a thing.
Yeah.
But I know that I've never seen it.
Are you sure? Because it seems like you saw it and then immediately forgot about it.
No, because even as I looked it up, unless, and I even looked to see if it was remade. It was not remade. It's from 1998. It's a German experimental thriller.
Wait, what's the one with Mila Jovovich? What's her movie called?
Mila Jovovich?
Yeah.
She's in Resident Evil.
That's not Run Lola Run.
Well, let me talk about the one I saw.
All right, go ahead.
Run Lola Run from 1998, German experimental thriller by Todd Twyker's story follows a woman named Lola who needs to obtain 100,000 douche marks in 20 minutes to save the life of her boyfriend, Manny. Now, I did not see any place where this movie was remade as anything. Nope. And I see trying to look it up now.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because I actually was like you. When I saw that, I was thinking, maybe it was remade into something like a Milla or a Bridget Fonda movie or something like that. But no.
All right.
No, it wasn't. But
because I feel like I saw that.
But it was in my head.
And I thought it was her in there.
It was to be fair, the actress who does star in this film, Franca Ponte, does
Look like her a little bit.
yeah. She's got like a look.
Okay. All right. Okay. There you go.
All right. So that's number 2.
Number 2.
All right. And I had to. And the reason why I gave her number 2 over them
Mm-hmm.
is because even though it turned out to be German,
Mm-hmm.
it was in my head. Like that permeated. That actually came to me before Copacabana, Kinky Boots, or Damn Yankees.
Okay.
So I had to give her, represent for that.
I don't understand how that came to you before Copacabana, but go ahead.
Just did.
All right. Well, what's number 1 that came to you before any of these?
Number 1, Lola Bunny from Warner Brothers.
Is that from?
The star of
Is
one of
that
the
Space
stars
Jam?
of Space Jam and Space Jam 2, A New
Okay.
Age. She is also the character has shown up in other Warner Brothers property, like the Warner Brothers show.
This a real tough top 5 right here.
Yeah, but Lola is famous.
This is a tough top 5 right here.
Oh, Lola's it's hard.
All right.
And I would argue,
Maybe you should have done the most famous Roscoe's. You may have better luck than this. Quite frankly, this is a raggedy top 5.
why is it raggedy?
It's a little raggedy.
Why is it raggedy? You were just
this is-
splooging all
No,
over
no, no.
Copacabana.
No. If you had a top 2, Lola Falana, Lola from Copacabana, I'd have said, "Oh wow, there you go, right there. That's them the only Lolas you need."
Okay, well I couldn't put Lola Falana on here.
I know, but so you already you kneecapped yourself.
What's wrong with Lola Bunny? What's wrong with it? Just because you don't know?
I didn't say I didn't know her. I just said, yeah, all right. The Lady Bunny from Space Jam. And then they brought her back years later for Space Jam 2. More Space Jam. Okay, sure. All right. Well, there you go. 5 Lolas.
Oh God. Anyway. Let's look at what's happening in the chat because they're having fun in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. George Kimona says that you might be thinking of The Fifth Element, Vincent.
I'm not thinking of The Fifth Element.
I didn't think you were thinking of The Fifth Element. Actually, the movie that I
see her running down the street with her hair all 1990s.
That's on the poster. That's on the poster, right.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I've seen this. I just thought it was, I'm
No, that's not it.
quite honestly just mixing up my East European actresses from 30 years ago who had really stylized hair.
There you go. Robert Monroe is saying no Lola from the Kinks song. I did see reference to that, Robert. I just that didn't bring anything to my mind.
Yeah.
So that's why I couldn't run with that.
Couldn't do that, Lola.
I couldn't do that, Lola. And George Kimona says or asks, we're going to need a top 5 of Vincent's banana songs.
Oh boy, you need more than 5 for that. Yeah.
You need more than 5?
There's so many songs of bananas.
Really?
You have a bunch of bananas.
Wait a minute. There's the Copacabana.
I can't think of anything else.
And then there's Harry Belafonte's song, right?
Oh no, I mean bananas as in crazy.
Oh, banana song.
Yeah, there's
tons of crazies. Oh, please.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's why I said you need more than 5.
Oh yeah. Most certainly. No. That'll be a binge lounge one day.
Copacabana is fantastic.
Khadijah chimed in that Billy Porter won a Tony for Best Actor in Kinky Boots when he played Lola.
Nice.
Oh, I can see that.
Oh, of course you can.
I can see that. Oh wow, I can definitely see that. All right, let's keep it moving.
Keep it moving.
That was our top 5.
Top
ladies
5.
and gentlemen. Now let's move into what I like to call the Game of Kings.
The Game of Kings.
Well, you would be surprised what a person can do with just a sensitive touch and a sensitive sound.
6 Degrees of D'Urville Martin, where
Hey.
Vincent will attempt in 6 movies or less to get from 70s heartthrob D'Urville Martin to an actor of my choice. And I again took my lead from the film that we will be reviewing, The Liberation of L.B. Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Vincent, would you like to get to an actor from Worcester, Massachusetts? Or an actor from Camden, New Jersey?
We start with Camden. It's close by.
All right. So
Then work our way up north.
much like Lola Falana,
Mm-hmm.
who was birthed in Camden, New Jersey,
Okay.
Vincent, in 6 movies or less, get from D'Urville Martin
D'Urville Martin.
to
Two.
another person born from Camden,
A Camdenite.
Tasha Smith.
Tasha Smith. This is Tasha Smith from the Tyler Perry films.
Yes.
Okay. And this is how we shall get to Tasha Smith.
You show me how will we do it.
We are going to get to D'Urville Martin. From D'Urville Martin to Tasha Smith, because D'Urville Martin. I don't want to do this. D'Urville Martin is in Five on the Black Hand Side, Dick Anthony Williams. Dick Anthony Williams is in Mo Better Blues with Samuel Jackson. Samuel Jackson is in School Days with Giancarlo Esposito.
Mm-hmm.
Giancarlo Esposito is in Fresh with Sean. What's his last name?
Oh, good question. Fresh. Hold on. Hold on. Pump your brakes, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on.
This is my fault. I just forgot his last name.
Great. The different movie. There was a Fresh in 2022, so that came up first.
Right.
It annoys me.
Sean. I'm looking right at him because I love him so much.
1994's Fresh, starring Sean Nelson.
Sean Nelson,
Yeah,
who's in The Wood with Richard T. Jones, who's in Why Did I Get Married with Tasha Smith.
Okay, very good. Well done. For some reason, I think there may have been a quicker route.
Oh, it's absolutely a quicker route. I was just, trying to go a scenic route, a route that we don't go that often.
And you did it.
So, we got Fresh in the Wood
5
involved.
moves.
Yeah.
Very good, Vincent. Someone on Facebook called it. Said 5 moves.
Yeah.
Right. I think they're placing bets. I think they're earning people money.
Again, a lot of times you can go quicker.
Mm-hmm.
But,
It was fun. We played 6 Degrees on Saturday.
We did.
They tried to stump you.
They did.
but
They
you,
did.
You stunned the crowd with your majesty.
It's amazing. So who's our Massachusetts person? Who's my New Englander?
Your New Englander from The Liberation of L.B. Jones, also making their acting debut, if you can believe it or not.
Okay.
Zara Cooley.
This is her first film?
I know. You would have thought that she had
Yeah,
acted
this is
and you didn't know it.
I mean, just here on this show, this is before Sugar Hill.
Mm-hmm.
This is before Brother John.
Mm-hmm. And more famously, before
the Jeffersons.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And she heralds from Worcester, Massachusetts.
Interesting.
Along with this star, who you will attempt to get to from D'Urville Martin in 6 movies or less, Dennis Leary.
Dennis Leary in a movie.
Mm-hmm. Not extensive, but he does have a filmography.
Yeah. Problem is, it's Dennis Leary is usually I know I've seen Dennis Leary in a movie, but it was like a bit part, and he like came and went.
I should let you know that probably his most famous movies, he's a voice actor.
What is Dennis Leary doing voices? Dennis Leary.
And definitely in a movie within the last 10 years that I know you've seen. Two, actually. Well, one within the last 10.
I don't know what he's in. That's the real problem. Give me the voice acting thing.
I'll give you voice acting.
Which one's easier, the voice acting thing or the movie?
They're both easy as far as like they have a lot of connections in them. But the voice acting, I guess you got to know the
other voices.
The other voices.
Well, give me that one then.
Okay, one of them you'll probably know if you know the movie, and it's his most recent movie.
What is that?
From 2016, Ice Age Collision Course.
Oh my God! All right, who's he playing? Ice Age.
He's the saber-toothed tiger.
Oh, he sure is. Diego. Which one is that?
The most recent one.
The most recent one. Okay, so I'll definitely get to this one because I know Queen Latifah ends up is a later addition to the cast, and of course, how do we even get to Queen Latifah? You know what? We'll go the same way, or use the same actor, and we'll do something that we just did, because D'Urville Martin once again is in 5 on the Black Hand Side with Dick Anthony Williams, who is in Mo Better Blues also. And I actually made an extra step because he's in Mo Better Blues as well as School Days, and that would be Giancarlo Esposito, who's in The Last Holiday with Queen Latifah,
who's in
Ice Age.
Ice Age
3, Ice Age 2, Ice Age : printing money when Pixar don't have nothing else. Oh, you're right.
Collision.
Right, one of them Ice Age movies.
All right. Well,
what movie is he in? And it's not animated.
That I know you've seen.
I mean, just tell me what it was like. I don't think of Dennis Leary in movies.
Okay. Well, he was in 2014. He started 2 films. One I know you didn't see. One I know you saw.
Okay.
The one you didn't see was Draft Day.
You're right. I didn't.
Yeah, it's literally all about the NFL draft. The one I know you saw.
Okay.
Is The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Who was he in that?
He plays Captain Stacy, Gwen Stacy's father.
Does he really? Is that Andrew Garfield, or is that? You know what? I didn't see that.
You didn't see that?
I did not see that.
Did you see either of his?
You ready?
films?
Not really an Andrew Garfield Spider-Man fan.
But wait a minute.
I didn't see either of them.
But then you can't say you're not a fan if you didn't see
them. No. I'm sorry. Let's be clear. I'm not a fan of those movies. Because you remember, those were the movies that Sony made to keep the copyright. Like, they came like a year after the Tobey Maguire movies.
I think it was a little bit more than a year.
It wasn't a year, but it was very close to it. And everyone said this was all some licensing stuff.
Okay.
And I saw the first one, or I saw part of the first one, maybe the first half hour of the first one, and it did not hold my, like, it looked like this is a movie that the lawyer said we needed to put out.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I have to say I don't agree with you.
Okay. I can't fight you because I didn't see it.
I mean, I definitely know that there was, reasons for why they did this. Keep holding on to the copyright, holding on to Spider-Man. Even though there were some legitimate reasons to make it, because Spider-Man 3, the Tobey Maguire, Sam Raimi Spider-Man 3 screwed the pooch.
Right.
But so all that being said, Andrew Garfield, I think, brought a different energy than Tobey Maguire to the role. And the film was different enough that I was like, okay, this is this iteration of Spider-Man. And the first one actually is not bad. It's actually pretty good.
I will take.
It's got some killer special effects.
Like I said, I had to take your word for it, but as someone who is a true blue, diehard Blurred, it didn't hold my attention after a half hour.
Oh wow! I would challenge you to return to that.
Okay,
man.
like I 100% turned the channel
because that's the one with the lizard, and the lizard is it really is well done.
Okay, all right, I'll circle back around.
All right, well, okay, well.
But yeah, I never would have guessed that for Dennis Leary.
Wow. Well, then let me just go through his.
About to say, what else is he in?
He was. I'm going back. He was in Blow. Did you ever see Blow?
I did see Blow. I don't remember anything about Blow.
Oh, wow, such a good movie. He was in. What's my movie? Great. Where's my movie? I just saw it. Wag the Dog. Did you ever see Wag the Dog? Robert De Niro, Dustin Hoffman.
You know what? I don't think I actually saw Wag the Dog.
That's a good movie. Natural Born Killers. He was in.
Who did he play in Natural Born Killers?
Well, now that I'm looking at it, he was in the director's cut.
Okay.
And he was in The Ref. That was like his big movie.
I vaguely remember that
with Judy Davis and Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
He's in a lot of movies. He was in Who's the Man?
He sure was in Who's the Man.
Mm-hmm. He was in. He has a cameo in Strictly Business.
Okay, I don't remember that.
And Demolition Man. He I mean, and I'm jumping around.
All right,
Suicide Kings, The Matchmaker.
All right.
Small Soldiers. Your voice in Bug's Life.
Okay. All right.
So he did work.
Well,
I mean,
but
he's forever rescue me for me. So
right. And them Ice Age checks.
yeah, he ain't mad. He ain't mad at all. And I like Dennis Leary.
Yeah.
I do like him.
Right. Well, there you go.
Well, there you go. At the end of the day, you got there.
Yeah.
And that is what counts.
And I used Giancarlo Esposito twice, so I feel good about that.
You did.
Mm-hmm.
You did. And I don't have to pull him. All right.
Well, you can't pull Giancarlo Esposito.
Oh, no. There's some names I just stand to stay away
from. Oh,
from.
my goodness gracious.
No.
Yeah.
It'll be one movie. It'll be done.
Right. Like America just discovered him 10 years ago.
I know, but we've known
right.
For quite some time. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get into our review. I got two cameras looking at me, and I keep looking at the wrong camera. Let's get into our review of The Liberation of L.B. Jones. But first, it's time for Trailer Talk.
All right. What you want to talk about?
Where we just talk about whatever comes our way. Mm-hmm. Now,
okay.
We're going to be remote next week, ladies and gentlemen. We're still going to be doing our show. We're still going to be live, but we're going to be virtual. Vincent will be in his home. We're going to have a very special guest that will be in their home, and I will be on location in New Orleans. Because I have to go to New Orleans for my job.
Ooh.
So I want to know if anyone has been recently to New Orleans, where to go to eat. Like my check-in, I get into New Orleans on Monday. right?
Right.
My check-in is technically not till 3:00,
Mm.
but I get into New Orleans at 11. So I'm going to drop off my bags at the hotel,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm just going to kind of like walk around. Me and a couple of guys, we're going to go scope out the local comic book scene while we're there.
Mm-hmm.
But
I actually know a shop.
you know a comic book shop?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I think it's Crescent City Comics. Actually,
is it like?
I'll text you obviously before next week and tell you.
But is it like in the heart?
It's got to be in the what? Whoa! Let me stop talking. I haven't been to New Orleans in probably 5 or 6 years.
It's not that long.
Yeah, but
Things change.
Yeah,
Things change.
But yeah, I'll let you know about that. Then you know you got to go to Cafe Du Monde.
The Cafe Du Monde.
Yeah, Cafe Du Monde. That's right in the French Quarter. You got to go there for beignets and chicory coffee.
Well, I'm not a coffee guy. So.
All right, then just get the beignets.
Okay, now I've always heard about beignets.
Yeah,
I don't know what beignets are.
it's a donut. It's a powdered donut.
So
But
it's
that
just a
doesn't.
powdered donut.
But it doesn't do it justice. Me saying that.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it big like a donut?
No. They're usually like about this big.
It's a donut size.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, but that doesn't do us justice. So I have to get a beignet.
Yeah, you gotta go to.
Yeah, because I heard of people like going to get like a whole bunch of beignets.
Yeah. You gotta go to Cafe Du Monde. It's a shame you don't drink coffee because they go perfectly with the coffee.
Okay, now I would imagine that beignets is something that is New Orleans centric, but you're saying if you're going to get beignets, go to Cafe Du Monde.
No, right. Well, I mean, right. I mean,
I just want to make sure.
Right. I'm sure you can get them other places down
Right.
there, and I'm sure if you ask somebody from New Orleans, they might tell you, "Oh,
someplace
well, that's
else.
for the tourists. Go get them over here." But they're delicious
Okay.
at Cafe Du Monde
See, now
for
that's
someone
interesting.
who's not from there
That's
and
interesting.
has just visited.
Because one of the people at my job lives in New Orleans,
Mm-hmm.
and so I'm going to ask her. Funny enough, her name is Leslie,
Mm-hmm.
same name as my sister. So I'm going to ask her, okay, where do I go for beignets?
There you go.
So if she says
Perfect
someplace
question.
other than Cafe Du Monde,
Take her word
Take
over
her-
mine.
take her word over
Absolutely.
yours. Okay, all right. But
In fact,
short
I
of
feel
that-
like you're wasting everybody's time right now. You need to ask all these questions to her.
well,
Like
yeah, but-
you skipped over, you knew somebody from New Orleans.
well, everybody's going to be like everybody in my job is like bombarding her with questions. So I'm
Mhm.
asking the missionaries.
Yeah.
I mean, like she, look, I work with her. Y'all my people.
Right, but and I'm gonna do my best, but like I don't know, like people who've been there.
Okay.
All right.
I was also looking for things to talk about. You couldn't
Sure.
just go with it.
I couldn't because this is way more important than that. You gotta get a po' boy. You know you gotta get a po' boy.
No, yes.
All
yes,
right.
Yes, I do know that.
All right.
Is there any place to recommend it for?
I
Bobo?
don't. I
Okay.
don't because the spot that I like, I can't remember the name of it.
Okay.
I just know I walked to it.
Okay. Do I get some gumbo? Don't you have to get gumbo?
Gotta get gumbo. Get some A2. Do you like shrimp?
Are you kidding me? I love shrimp.
Okay, yeah, right. Gotta get some shrimp etouffee.
It's shrimp etouffee.
Shrimp etouffee.
What the heck?
It's
is that?
like shrimp in a gravy, and they put it over rice.
in a brown gravy.
It's delicious.
Shrimp etouffee.
Shrimp etouffee. Etouffee, I think, is French for sauce or
Yeah,
gravy or
isn't that what they put on French fries in Canada?
No, I don't. Well, I don't know.
Because that's like a gravy.
Yeah,
and like
it
a
is.
sour cream. And
Yeah.
gravy on their.
I don't think it's the
fries.
same thing.
Maybe it's not called the same.
I don't
thing.
think it's the same thing now.
Okay. All right.
And,
So shrimp etouffee.
You gotta get some gumbo.
So gumbo. I know po' boy,
Mhm.
beignets, shrimp etouffee,
Gumbo.
and gumbo.
Yeah.
Any particular gumbo? Because I imagine there's different gumbo.
It's so funny. My cousin moved there, and she said something about
Jesse Wilson says I should go to Parkway Tavern for the po' boy.
that might be where I go. That sounds super familiar. I get a catfish po' boy because I'm not a big shrimp guy.
Mm. Jeffrey Thomas says that beignets go well with chocolate milk.
Okay, there you go. You drink chocolate milk.
Yeah, but I don't know. For some reason that just made my stomach hurt.
All right.
Aaron Fry says, don't go to the House of the Rising Sun.
Okay. See, that's a music joke.
Yeah, I thought so. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. So, and George Kimona wants me to go to Cisco's.
I don't know anything about that.
See, I don't think there's actually a place down there that is named after Cisco's. Because remember, he opened up a shop.
Oh, right, Cisco. Right. Look, I'm hyper focused. You're going to New Orleans.
Your trek,
Right.
Go off.
Right. I'm low key, and it ain't even that low. Jealous that you're going to New Orleans. Like we've actually been saying for the past 2 or 3 years, we just cannot get our schedule together because I love New Orleans.
Never been, so I'm
yeah,
so looking forward to it. I'm so much
My dad spent a significant amount of New Orleans in a time in New Orleans when he was a child, lived in the Callio projects.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So we used to go to New Orleans every summer when I was a kid, and I've been there several times as an adult. So big fan of New Orleans. Big fan of New Orleans.
So it's Robert Monroe Jr. He said that it is his second favorite city.
Yeah, got family right outside New Orleans in Slidell, Louisiana.
That doesn't sound mystic at all.
It's actually, a lot of it is a swamp. My grandfather lived on the swamp. Ask me, you're gonna say, oh, you live near the swamp? No. He lived on the swamp. Ask me how much he lived on the swamp.
How much did he live on the swamp?
In the trailer that he lived in, he had to bring his dogs in at night so the alligators wouldn't eat them.
He lived on the swamp.
Yes.
He lived with the swamp.
Yes.
Wow.
Alligators would eat the dogs.
So
he had to bring the dogs in at night.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus. What are these vampire alligators that didn't come out during the sun?
Look, I guess they didn't really mess with, daytime is all right, but you leave them out at night, it's quiet. Turn that generator off, and now it's dark. Generator, oh, he didn't have electricity? No, he didn't have electricity.
No, well, you said he lived on the swamp.
Yeah.
I already saw a generator.
Oh, yeah.
The whole nagadoodle.
Oh, yeah.
That's the whole deal. Man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna have an interesting conversation.
Yeah.
All right.
So
that's enough recommendations.
Thank
you.
All right.
Thank you. Recommendations for New Orleans, and hey, maybe I'll have a po' boy.
Have a po' boy
with me when we do the show next week.
Nice.
All right.
Nice.
I'll have a po' boy. I'll be eating a po' boy.
Nice. I love catfish po' boys.
Well,
that's my
huge
jam.
Catfish fan.
Oh,
I love me some catfish. So
most people go shrimp po' boys.
I've heard that, but to me, like, I know it's a sandwich, so I would want something more
like an oyster po' boy. I don't know how you feel about oysters. Yeah, I don't like them, but
that doesn't even sound good. I like oysters for 5 minutes.
I have a friend that's what he was eating.
Ew.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Y'all making my stomach hurt.
I know. And get you a hurricane. You gotta get you a hurricane. Be easy with that hurricane.
Is that a drink?
Oh yeah, because you're working, but be easy with it.
Well, I get it after hours.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to get up the next day to work.
Jesus.
I assume.
Wait a minute, it's just one. It's a drink.
Yeah, but it's like big, and they put a lot of liquor in it. So
what is it like? A whole bunch of different liquors?
Yeah.
So it's like a Long Island.
It's like a Long Island who was doing a gamma radiation experiment, and a hipster boy ran out in the mill, and then you ran out. The drink ran out to get the boy out the way, and then the bomb went off. And now he walks the earth and goes from town to town trying to find a cure
for the hurricane.
So that he is no longer the dun 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 dun, and it's like the Long Island iced tea, but then half the screen is the hurricane.
Okay,
so
that's interesting.
Yeah.
See. Okay, next week I will have a po' boy,
a Long
Island iced tea, and a hurricane.
you're not gonna need that Long Island iced tea, and you need to be easy with that hurricane.
Because I have to do a taste test.
Oh, for God's sake! All right.
It's for the show, Vince.
Yes, sure.
We have to do these things for the
all
show.
of us remote and a guest, and why wouldn't you do this kind of thing next week?
I have to do this for the show.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Robert Monroe Jr. says a hurricane will mess you up big time if you're not careful. Khadijah says that Len does not need a hurricane. Trust me. And Jesse says you better just stick with the hurricane.
You need to be real easy.
Look,
with
I love Long Island iced tea. I can have
stop it.
I know because you don't like Long Island.
No. This is not a Long Island iced tea. You need to be real easy.
What's the
with the
liquors that are
hurricane.
in it?
I don't know, but they list them.
Can you drink a hurricane?
I can drink a hurricane.
That's what I'm talking about. Is getting one.
Yeah.
But one would do you in. Like you would only do like if you had a hurricane, would you have anything else to drink that night?
No.
Oh.
No, I would not. Not only that, but I need to be ready to go home after the hurricane.
Really? Is
Yeah.
that big?
It's a lot of liquor.
Okay. All right.
And it's so good.
All right. Well, I'm getting one.
And it's hot. I don't know how hot it'll be, but it's like hot.
Well, they said it.
And you're
I've heard it's going to be like in the 50s, 60s.
okay.
So it should be
So you can kind of sip.
Yeah.
Yeah, but be easy with
All
the
right.
hurricane.
So I won't get the Long Island. I'll just get the hurricane.
Right. And
I'll have a po'
and
boy.
some water. Yeah.
And some water.
Yeah.
Okay.
And sip.
And sip.
All right, because it's going to be delicious, and this isn't that strong at all.
Is it sweet?
It is sweet, and you'll be, this isn't that strong at all. Next thing you know, it's 7:00 in the morning. You're on the hood of a car.
Well, as long as I wake up in my hotel room, I should be fine.
I
But
mean,
you're saying there's no telling.
there's just
There's no promise.
no guarantee. It's no guarantee. You better leave that hurricane. Be easy with the hurricane. That's
Okay.
all. All right.
All right. Let's see. All right. All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's get to
Let's
our
go.
review of LB, The Liberation of LB Jones. The Liberation of L.B. Jones, a 1970 American film directed by William Wyler, screenplay by Jesse Hill Ford and Sterling Silliphant, based on Ford's 1965 novel, The Liberation of Lord Byron Jones. This film stars Roscoe Lee Browne, Lee J. Cobb, Lola Falana, Anthony Zerbe, Lee Majors, Arch Johnson, Barbara Hershey, Chill Wills, Eve McVeigh, and Micheaux favorite Yaphet Kotto.
Yaphet Kotto.
This film, which is a taut noir dealing with murder, race, sex, and all the in between, was Vincent's selection for this stop on the Micheaux mission. Vincent, what say you of the liberation of L.B. Jones?
I think the most important thing about this film is, as you said, it is based on the novel of basically the same name by the screenwriter, Jesse Ford.
Mm-hmm.
Because the strongest aspect of this film is the story itself. So it's a really interesting story that's a snapshot of this moment of transition in America, frankly. It's set in a small town. Roscoe Lee Browne plays the title character, L.B. Jones, or Lord Byron Jones. And he is the wealthiest black man in this small town.
Small southern town.
This small southern town, which is important. He is married to a significantly younger woman. A woman, I believe they say is 22, 23 years old, played by Lola Falana. and he wants to divorce her because she has been cheating on him with someone. And although because he is so much older than her, he is able to forgive her for this, she tells him, I am not going to stop seeing this other man. The complication occurs when he goes to get a lawyer, and you know, as the wealthiest black man in town, he can afford to get a good lawyer, and the best lawyer in town.
Sorry, he is the wealthiest man in town because he is
an undertaker.
Like the funeral director.
Right.
Yeah.
He's the colored undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
He goes to get the big lawyer in town, who's a white man. The lawyer tells him, basically, I will take the case. You know, there's a little back and forth, but I'll take the case if it's a no argument. If she's not contesting it, right, basically. And as far as Jones knows, she's not going to contest it. She wants to keep her lover. He has tried to reconcile with her, says, if you stop seeing the man, I can take you back. She says, I'm not going to stop seeing him. Jones says, I want a divorce. And it seems like she is willing to go along with the divorce. She says, I'll give you the house. I'll give you the car, as a divorce. Because of that, the lawyer who is played
by Lee J. Cobb.
And Oman Hedgepath says, I'll go along with it. The reason why Hedgepath is so interested in whether or not this is going to be a no contest divorce is because if Mrs. Jones contests the divorce, that means they would have to go to court. And if they go to court, that means that people have to testify. And if they testify, it's going to come out that Lola Falana's character is cheating on Roscoe Lee Browne's character with a white man.
More importantly,
and only is he a white man, but he is a policeman. And Hedgeworth, who while is a very successful lawyer, he is also basically one of the town fathers. He understands the implications of what would happen to the town if it got out that this white policeman was having an affair with this black woman.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't want this to happen. Come to find out, because it's a movie and it's a movie that's not 10 minutes long, Lola Falana's character has decided to contest the divorce because she wants money, and she wants more than just a car and a house because she is pregnant,
right,
with the policeman's child. And this is really the foundation of this story, that because it's set in the late 60s, there's a film that came out in 1970, again, based on this novel. It is a Southern town. Obviously, everything that we think about in these small Southern towns with the racism and the white supremacy and all of that is in play. But because we're in this weird moment at the end of the civil rights movement, appearance matters.
Right.
So you just can't lynch people. You just can't run over people. Like, you can't be a policeman who's keeping the law and have this very open relationship with this black woman. So a large part of the film involves the players trying to convince L.B. Jones and Mrs. Jones, or Emma Jones, to not contest it, not tell, keep this secret. There's a subplot with Yaphet Kotto, where Yaphet Kotto apparently was from the town when he was younger, and now he's come back to get revenge on one of the policemen, not the policeman having an affair with Emma, but his partner,
Officer Bumpus.
And quite honestly, this is a subplot that doesn't really give much meat. Like, it's there, but the real meat is this social interaction. between these other characters. And I found the story itself really interesting. Like, just again, this social dynamic in this town during this moment of transition. It actually reminds me a little bit of something like William Faulkner would have written. Like, Faulkner always wrote about these transitional periods in the South. Again, it's based on this novel, but apparently the novel was based on a true story.
That's right.
That actually happened in Jesse Ford's town. So you have this sense of authenticity that runs through it that really held my attention, to the point that for the film itself, one of the decisions that I liked so much that I wish they would have done with it, you know, we do spoilers here. The conflict culminates just the way, you know, many of you would have guessed the conflict would culminate, which would be in the murder of L.B. Jones, because he refuses to not tell the truth. But when it happens, there's 20 minutes left in the film. So you get to see the repercussions of the richest black man in this town murdered, and how the white men who are in charge of the town have to kind of deal with that and massage it and put everything back in place. And while it was 20 minutes left in the film, I wish there was a 45 to an hour left, because again, that was the strongest part to me of this film, like the story itself. Now, what I haven't said, concentrating so much on the story, is the rest of it. As a film, you know, there aren't really any performances that jump out at you. Roscoe Lee Browne isn't really asked to do much, but be kind of a straight rod black guy.
Yeah. A bit of a milquetoast for most of it.
Bit of milquetoast guy, but again, even that would be more of a personality.
That's true.
Than what you get here. Lola Falana as an actress, this is her first role, and Lola Falana as an actress is a beautiful woman. She is also not asked to do much, but be Lola Falana, and wear very little clothing, or for a moment, no clothing at all. And you might get a spark every now and then of life from her, but it's only a spark. It's only going to be a moment, and she's going to do something with her leg where the camera is drawn to her thighs, and you're not going to think about it. We mentioned Lee Majors and Barbara Hershey are in here. Lee Majors has never been anyone's thespian.
No.
And as an early role for Lee Majors, the role itself and his performance, there's nothing really there. There's a slew of actors who you've seen in television, including, as we talked about, our beloved Zara Coley, who you know as Mother Jefferson, who we all love so much. Yaphet Kotto, I got the sense that Yaphet Kotto's character was a character looking for a better script and a better movie.
I was about to say, yep.
Like, you could see life in there, and there are these wonderful, very quick little moments where you realize there's more going on with this. Like, this guy is bigger than this movie. The pacing, the way the film is shot, quite honestly, it reminded me of a 70s television show.
Yeah.
Like, I kept waiting for someone to say, and on the next episode of Mannix,
not Mannix. What?
Murder in a Southern Town. It certainly doesn't rise to the level of a Columbo or a Rockford Files, but it very much could be a Barnaby Jones, a Mannix, even a Kojak, as much as people talk about Kojak. And while that sounds like an insult, I love them shows. Like, I love Mannix. I love Barnaby Jones. Like, I love those kind of standard, those sort of old procedurals
of the day.
Right, where, you know, guest starring Jill St. John. And you know, like, I love those. So while it's not a great movie, I very much enjoyed it because, again, the story was so interesting to me, and how, again, it was a snapshot of this transitional moment. And while it had the flavor of a television show, it had the flavor and feel of a television show that I like. So that I landed on, I enjoyed this movie.
You're right. It does have like some of the vibe, some of the production values.
Production values, yeah.
On screen that make you think of like television at the time. And this almost could be like a blown up TV movie for television that they, like they decided, hey, let's release this,
Yes.
akin to the Scott Joplin movie that we had watched, which definitely felt like a TV movie that they then said, oh, well, let's release it for a little bit. The difference with this one, and you were talking about the performances and the direction. The difference about this movie is, in fact, the pedigree. And it's not so much because of the pedigree in front of the camera, even though we all have love in the Black community for Roscoe Lee Browne and Lola Falana. But Lola Falana at this time she's not even what Lola Falana would become. She's making her film debut, and she still very much is a name-ish on the stage, at this time, right? Roscoe Lee Browne, Yaphet Kotto are both growing character actors at this time, right? So Roscoe Lee Browne would never rise to the heights of like a lead actor, be in front of the camera, but he definitely was an actor that we were used to seeing showing up and stuff and always appreciating when he does show up. And Yaphet Kotto was a face that we were becoming more and more familiar with, and a face that were growing to learn to trust for something interesting happening on the screen, right? But in 1970, even their legends are still being born. So the pedigree that I'm actually talking about, which was what would make you think that this is going to be a much more significant film, is the lead actor, who is a white man who plays the Southern lawyer Hedgepath, Lee J. Cobb. Lee J. Cobb is definitely a name out there in 1970 that resonates for people because of an incredible filmography behind him. He was starred in the original 12 Angry Men. He was also in On the Waterfront. So he is a name that people definitely recognize and would latch onto. But even more so than him, you talked about the person who wrote the novel, Jesse Ford. His writing partner in this is Sterling Silliphant. Sterling Silliphant is an Academy Award winning screenwriter for In the Heat of the Night. So he's coming off of that into this film.
Yeah.
And then even more than that, the director of this movie is William Wyler, a not one, not two, 3-time Academy Award winning director of films. He won Academy Awards for I believe it was for Mrs. Miniver. Yes, Mrs. Miniver, The Best Years of Our Lives, and the movie that you probably have all heard of, Ben-Hur. So you've got all of that pedigree.
Yeah, these some heavy players.
These are some heavy players coming into this studio film. This is Columbia Pictures. So this is a studio. This is not independent, coming together to wrap their talents around this, as you pointed out, urgent socio-political story ripped from the headlines. So you're thinking, oh boy, this is going to be something. But what you don't know, probably don't know going into it, even though I got an inkling he probably knew it, that this is William Wyler's final movie.
Yeah.
It's his last movie. And it's his last movie as director, and he's unfortunately William Wyler, I believe, and I just want to make sure because I didn't look it up earlier. He passes away in 1981, but he was not doing very well in 1970 at all. So I don't know. There's a question of how much he was at the full capacity of his powers in 1970, right? So this is going to be his last movie. And unfortunately, it appears that in the direction of this film, he may have took his eye off the ball a little bit, because just looking objectively from the way that this film is directed, you would never guess that this was a person that won an Academy Award. Right. 3 times. For direction. And like you said, the story is so interesting, but the reason why the performances don't land is because they're all over the place. Yaphet Kotto's in another movie. Lee J. Cobb, who is an actor I've always enjoyed, but he's also an actor that has never met a script that he could not make a hungry meal out of. So he's chewing up the place. Lee Major is waiting for somebody to activate his bionic eye. Roscoe Lee Browne is sleepwalking. Somebody he must be method acting a funeral director in this movie, because he is sleepwalking through this film. And Lola Falana, like you said, as an actress, is a beautiful woman.
Is very pretty.
Right.
Yes.
And with all due respect to Lola Falana's career as an actress, she's a beautiful woman.
She's very pretty.
Right. So you're left with the best thing going acting-wise is Zara Coley. She's giving the best performance in this movie. She looks like she's 75 years old. They just discovered her, probably because she was on the corner. You want to be in the movie?
Yaphet Kotto is better than her.
Okay, fair enough. You're right. But I'm just saying, he was better. But like you said, he's acting in a different movie.
Now, he's in an entirely different movie than this.
He's in another movie.
Right.
No?
He thinks he's still in nothing but a man.
He's sitting there. He's sitting there saying, this is not the William Wyler movie I signed up for.
Right.
That's what he's saying.
Right. Yeah. How about that?
And
you're joking, but I think you're probably right.
It's real talk, man, because he probably gets a lot of these people to the yard. He probably gets Lee J. Cobb to the yard.
I mean, you can tell the level of preparation he's done with this character development. He's built a character.
That unfortunately is not given anything really substance to do in this movie.
Yeah, you're joking, but I bet that's 100% what happened.
Right. And it's a shame because his story is kind of interesting. His story is the lead Black story that you're introduced to, but it quickly becomes sidelined for most of the movie, and it never really connects.
No, it doesn't.
To the movie. You've got to do a little bit of gymnastics, to make it connect.
Yeah.
In your head. So, but it's a shame because the story is very interesting. Because the racial dynamics and racial politics of this southern town that are on display. How in Lee J. Cobb's character Hedgepath is talking to L.B. Jones, Roscoe Lee Browne's character, and he's basically telling him out of one side of his mouth, "Yeah, I got you." Because I know me and you, they come off as kind of cordial or if even friends. Right. I got you because you're my friend. However, I can't go up against, I can't put this white man's name out in the streets like that. Yeah. Never mind this white man who admittedly, you're not meant to feel any type of sympathy for. But you're really only meant to feel sympathy for one character in here, and that's Roscoe Lee Browne's character.
Yeah.
LB Jones. And he is done dirty in this movie by everybody. He's done dirty by the lawyer Hedge Pass. He's done dirty by Lola Falana, because Lola Falana like basically gives him her ass to kiss.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But her problem is that while she does have a nice ass, she proceeds to give it to everyone to kiss until somebody actually her white guy, who is urged by the lawyer to try to get her to settle. Yeah, because he doesn't want to get he doesn't want to have to put his name out there, and the white cop doesn't want to have his name out there. He goes and basically smacks her up before he realizes that she's gonna have a baby, and she gets smacked up for her trouble. Now she's still holding her ground. Yeah, but she's like popping bad in people's faces. Like she's like daring people to just she's daring people to hit her. Yeah, well, I say that all to say that there's no likable characters in this movie. I forgive me. I said Roscoe Lee Browne's character is a character to pity in this movie. There is one other character who is done real dirty in this movie, and I think you only get away with this because it is 1970, where you get away with this this happening. And that is, and I want to make sure, I don't think she got a... I was about to say, I know who you're talking about, and I don't know if she's really in the credits. Yeah, she's not in the credits because she doesn't have much of a role and much lines. At one point, the white cops, they arrest this guy, and I don't even think they arrest him for the murder or anything. No, they just arrest him for being black. Yeah, they don't even show the arrest. Right? No, he just walks into the station. It happens off camera. They arrest him for being black, and his wife later calls down to the station saying, "Hey, what can I do to get my husband out of there? Because he's got to work the next day, and if he doesn't show up, he's going to get laid off, and we really need the money." Yada yada yada. Well, they tell her, "Station, you got to speak to the arresting officer, see if you can get him to drop the charges." So they put her in contact with the arresting officer, who happens to be Officer Willie Joe, who is Lola Falana's dude. He shows up with his partner, Officer Bumpus, on the corner to pick up this guy's wife. Says that they're going to take her to him to settle things. What they instead do is drive her out to the park, where he jumps in the back seat and he rapes her. Yes. It is done off camera. I was about to say it's all done off camera, but it is still, there is definitely a tense and intense moment where you see him jumping into the back seat with her, and then and I got the sense that both of them assaulted her. See, I only got the sense that he did. Yeah, I thought when Bumpus yawned like he did, that was the film signaling us that both of them had assaulted her. No, see, I took because you see Willie Joe unbuttoning her blouse, right, and then they fall lay down into the back seat, and then it cuts to them to another scene, and the next thing you know, you see them pulling up back to the corner, basically to just let her out the car, disheveled. And that's when Bumpus yawned. I took his yawn as this is another Saturday night. Right. Okay. Well, regardless. No, regardless, he's ambivalent to it. He certainly is. And he definitely, while I don't see him participating in the assault, he is complicit in the assault. Yeah. Because he drives them and is there the whole time, the whole nine. But I feel sorry for her. Yeah, because there's absolutely no justice given to that woman. No, none. This is this town whatsoever. That is just the town in which we live. And never mind that there's no justice given to this woman. Willie Joe, as you mentioned, would then later murder LB Jones. There's no justice given to him. No, none whatsoever. He actually, in fact, in the end of the movie, feels a tinge of guilt
Yeah.
for killing LB Jones. Yet the lawyer, who we were led to believe at the beginning of the film is LB's friend, talks him out of the guilt
Mm-hmm.
and is complicit in hiding the murder weapon.
Look, that's part of what drew me so much to this story. I think oftentimes when we see these depictions of these small towns, and we actually saw this in a film that we've talked about previously, The Learning Tree, where there is this clear division.
Sorry, real quick. Yes, I know I read that someplace. That woman that I was spoken of
Mhm.
was the film debut of Brenda Sykes.
That wasn't Brenda Sykes.
Yes, it was.
That wasn't Brenda Sykes. Brenda Sykes was at the bar dancing. That was Brenda Sykes.
Oh, you're right. That's right.
Oh, I know Brenda Sykes.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
You know how fond Lola Falana is? Brenda Sykes is in a movie, and she only the second fondest woman in the movie.
That's true. Doing Lola Falana's act.
Right.
Damn.
I felt bad for Brenda Sykes because she probably Brenda Sykes everywhere she goes. But then they had her here with Lola Falana.
Yeah.
I like the fact that there wasn't this difference between the poor whites, the less formally educated whites, the thuggish whites.
Yeah.
You know, the townies, the policemen, this, that, and the other. I love the fact that the mayor and this lawyer, who in a lot of ways is in some ways is our POV character.
Mm-hmm.
Like this lawyer Hedgeworth. I loved very early on when he wants to take Jones's case. He says, I'm not going to take your case. Lee Major's character is his beloved nephew who has moved into the town to take over the law firm eventually.
Yeah.
And he says, basically, why can't we take it? We should take it. Oh, I don't want to take it. And then when all these complications occur, he says to Lee Majors, and this is why you don't practice nigger law.
Yeah.
And you don't think that this character would use this kind of language.
Not as has been set up.
But he very much would use this language, and he goes on to use it. And then, as you said, he and the mayor are the ones that facilitate the cover-up.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is more him.
No, he's
the mayor tries to sign this.
Well, the mayor says,
wash his hands up.
Yeah, the mayor says, I don't want to hear this.
Yeah.
So, no, it's him and the mayor.
Fair enough.
Because, again, the important thing is to keep the trains running on time.
Mm-hmm.
The important thing is not to besmirch the name of this town.
Mm-hmm.
Which, just to pull back out to the novel, Jesse Ford almost got ran out of this town
because of
this book where he brought attention to the real life case. So that part of the film, again, the story, I absolutely love that part.
I know the story. If someone told you this story,
right, you would say, wow, this would be a great movie. I wish they would have spent more time with Emma Jones's, Lola Falana's character's motivations.
I know.
Except for a quick scene at the end, the only time you see her is in her bedroom, which at first I thought this was a directorial choice to show how her physical movements are limited, but she's still kind of orchestrating all this stuff. But by the time the film goes off, you realize that this is just a weakness of the film, not developing this character.
I know, because it would have been interesting, because also when the film goes off, you're led to believe that she feels some level of remorse at LB Jones being killed, but she also realizes that she has to reconcile that she is pretty much ostracized in that town.
I didn't get that at all, because the only hint that maybe she's ostracized is that LB Jones's assistant attacks her, because LB Jones's assistant and Emma are falsely accused of murdering LB Jones after they find his dead body. Of course, they end up letting them go. The assistant attacks her very quickly. But that's actually the end of her in the film. Like
No,
I
no.
expected to see, like I said, when I said it was 20 minutes left, one of the repercussions I was looking for on screen is what you just said. Like I wanted to see the black townspeople react to her.
No, I understand. I think the assistant reacting to her the way that he did
Mm-hmm.
is it's meant to be, because this is certainly the way that I read it, our clue into how the town feels about her and her complicitness in his murder.
No. I agree with you. Like I agree it's reasonable to infer that from them. What I'm saying is it would have been more powerful if they would have showed more of it
Yeah.
with the actual townspeople.
Mhm.
Because one thing that I thought was a little unclear was who all knew about this relationship between Emma and
Willie Joe,
and Willie
the cop.
Joe. Because I got the sense they're trying to, we don't want it to be said in open court because now people will hear it. Obviously Willie Joe doesn't want his wife to know.
It's not it,
But I got the sense
it's an open secret. I think everyone knew it, but the difference is that when it is said in court, now it's on public.
Well, the other thing is that Bumpus went through this whole charade of setting up the body like he had been basically lynched.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if everyone knows, what's all this theater for?
Because
just leave the dead body there.
No, because the theater of it, and I still don't believe that it 100% tracks. I'm with you to a degree, but the theater of it is that while pretty much everyone knows, it's like that secret that people speak of in behind closed doors. Right. So, but for the general public, you want to put some ambiguity on what happened
So at the
to
bar,
L.B. Jones.
at the bar when Brenda Sykes is dancing, everybody knows. Everybody's talking about it, and they say, who really killed L.B. Jones. Yeah.
Right. But as long as there's just a hint of ambiguity, and that's why he tries to like slashes up his body, and that's what all of that is. And actually Bumpus, that officer, he's the only white person that gets any sort of justice in this movie,
Right.
because he's the reason why Yaphet Kotto's character has returned.
Right.
He's come back after being away for 13 years because he wants to enact revenge on Officer Bumpus for beating him
When he was a kid.
For no reason.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to murder him with a gun. He wants to shoot him with a gun, and he has an opportunity to do that at one point in the film, but he decides he doesn't want to do it. He realized when he came to that moment that that was not going to what it's actually setting him free. It was letting go of that feeling of revenge or what have you. But then in the wake of what happens to L.B. Jones, and you're led to believe that he now is back on that path,
Right.
At least for this one guy,
Right.
but he's not going to. But now he's going to be smart about it.
Well, yeah.
And he's not going to shoot him
Again, this is a character in search of a better movie.
So instead, he pushes him into his
it's like
his
a
thresher.
thresher. Yeah.
Thresher,
I actually wrote my notes. He Fargoed him.
Exactly.
Yes, I know Fargo was a wood chipper,
Yes. Well,
but he Fargoed him.
yes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is where.
How about
the idea
that?
came from.
Yeah. I think we are meant to believe that Hedgeworth's nephew and wife leaving at the end.
Hedgepath is his name.
Hedgepath, I'm sorry, is the repercussion of Hedgepath, because Hedgepath, and again, I don't know how hard it lands, but the film is positioning Hedgepath as somebody who's a little older, who's thinking about his legacy, who's thinking about his standing in town. He's never married. Like there's this whole weird little detail about he was having an affair with a black woman,
yeah.
and then the woman he was engaged to found out and then broke off the engagement. But it's such a highly dramatic detail that I felt like this was an episode from last season that I missed that they were referencing. Previously on Mannix. I know you're dating that black girl, and now I don't want to marry you. But I got the sense his whole thing was my legacy, and I'm going to give this to my nephew that I love more than my own flesh and blood, which is a quote from the movie. And the two of them leaving at the end with their judgment was supposed to be him having a consequence as well. But again, it just didn't land.
No, it does not land
as significantly as I think maybe the film wanted it to land.
No, it doesn't. One, because their characters aren't built up
at all.
at all. And two, we talked about Lee Majors is look.
I was talking to someone about this last week. You know how cool Lee Majors was, though? When you look at episodes of The Bionic Man and The $6 Million Man, actually not a lot of bionics.
No.
Like, it's like, but the vast majority of what made it work when it worked, he was real cool.
Yeah. Okay.
He was real cool.
Okay. When was the last
in them leisure suits and them turtlenecks?
Do you see, that's the thing. He looked real cool.
I think he had presence on the show.
He
was real cool.
I haven't watched.
He'd walk around. There was stuff going on.
I haven't watched full episodes.
Yeah,
but at one point for a project, I had to go and was looking for like clips,
right,
of the $6 million man, $6 million man, $6 man, whatever.
Right.
So I sat through a few. More than my share of clips of Lee Majors,
right,
from that show. Yeah, he looked cool.
I think
he does not get a line over very well.
I think you have to give yourself to a full episode. I really do. No, like I really do think it's the speed. I mean, it's 70s speed, much like this movie. Like there's a 70s pacing to it, but I believe, like I really did.
See, you said a 70s pacing. I actually think it's interesting that this movie comes out in 1970, what was very likely probably shot in 69 into 70.
Right.
Because there's this weird spot between 68, 69, and 70 where I think films are trying to find themselves.
Okay.
And I don't think it necessarily has a 70s pace. It's kind of got
a 70s television pace.
Even that,
like this feels like it very much felt like a television show to me.
It does, but even that to a degree, I still think it's still trying to find it's 70s. It's like the beginning of trying to find that pace. It feels like they want the pace of something like In the Heat of the Night.
I was about to say, you actually named the key earlier when you said this is the same. They 100%.
That's what they want.
Had a shot of In the Heat of the Night up on the cork board.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they don't. It just is not. It's not there.
I mean, if only you could get Norman Jewison, Sidney Poitier, and I'm about to say Carol O'Connor. Rod Steiger involved.
I know, but
besides that,
but you think you maybe
got the
writer of the movie, and William Wyler and Lee J. Cobb.
I know.
You think you've got a shot?
I know, and Roscoe Lee Browne speaks real proper. What else do you need?
You think? I
mean, you know what? You're not wrong. You're actually not wrong.
You think you've got a winner.
Right. They're like, we're going to make some like In the Heat of the Night. And then I said, The hell are you talking about? Here tonight had Norman Jewison, Sidney Poitier, and Rod Steiger. And then everybody you just named, and then they said, and Roscoe Lee Browne speak real proper.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, all right.
This makes me wonder what would this movie may have been if Yaphet Kotto is LB Jones.
I think he's too young at this
No,
point.
I think he's too young because of what that role.
Yeah, I
called
think
for.
he's
Even though
too young.
I think he's still he could play old. He could play older.
I think the other
He's got a
thing,
face that can play
I think the
older.
other thing about Yaphet Kotto, I don't know how you desexualize Yaphet Kotto in 1970.
That's true.
Like
That's a good point.
like-
This is weird. This happens.
like one thing about Roscoe Lee Jones,
Hold on a second.
Roscoe Lee Browne,
This is gonna-
he very much plays someone who has been cuckolded, as they say, very well. Like you said, Emma is running circles around him.
Mhm.
You know, Willie Joe just comes up in the house, like everyone just completely disrespects him.
I know.
And I don't know if Yaphet Kotto could pull that off in 19. I don't know when Yaphet Kotto, because Yaphet Kotto was probably older than Roscoe Lee Browne when he was on Homicide. And he was very much a force.
You mean he was
Like
older
the
than
actor.
Roscoe Lee Browne?
Right.
is
The
now,
actor Yaphet Kotto was probably older in Homicide than Roscoe Lee Browne
is
was
at
in this
time.
movie.
Yes. Yeah, I feel you. I did have an answer though, because me and my girlfriend were watching this film, and we at first questioned about everybody walking in and out of this man's house like
Mhm.
they do, but then I remembered, but he's the Undertaker. He's the funeral director.
Yeah, but I thought the funeral home was a different building.
No, a lot of times they kind of like.
No, I know in real life, but I mean in this movie when they have the establishing shot of him at the funeral home, I thought that was a different building than his house.
No, I thought that was the same place.
Same
Because he is at that place when he goes to see his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also at that place when the brief scene that they do show him in the funeral home. I could have sworn that was like it's definitely a different room.
Yeah, right. No, yeah. Okay. All right.
But I
Well,
think
yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
George Carmona has offered up a potential blurred compromise
Okay.
that you will watch The Amazing Spider-Man and I will watch The $6 Million Man.
An episode is, but I get to pick the episode.
Okay.
And I'm not going to pick one of the big ones. Like I won't.
I can't see him watch Battle Bigfoot.
Right. I mean, that would be easy to say. Oh, Bigfoot is entertaining. No. Like I won't pick Bigfoot. I won't pick. Did the Fembots?
Yeah.
Were the Fembots on the $6 million Man,
no,
or
the
were they
Fembot-
only on the Bionic Woman? No, they had to have been on the $6 million Man.
You know what? I'm not even seeing those fembots. I'm seeing fembots in I think there were fembots in a Matt Helm movie. Or was that?
I don't know.
Or was that Flint?
But the Fembots legitimately gave me nightmares.
Oh, those are the ones
That their face came off.
Yeah, you know what? I don't think that's a good question.
Yeah, I legitimately had actual nightmares from the Fembots.
I do remember them being like little creepy to me as well.
Yeah. Like I won't use one of those episodes. Like now what I might use
They had Bionic Woman. No.
I was about to say they must have started because I feel like
they were part of the $6 Million Bionic Woman
crossover
of line as far as dolls.
Yes, because I think my sister actually had one.
They were part of the. Oh man, they got the pictures. I can't look at the pictures.
No, I mess with the Fembots.
Those pictures. I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not going to scar you.
Yeah.
I think they were on the Bionic Woman first.
So they were never on the $6 million Man.
At least that's what it's showing.
Interesting.
Here. Yeah, here the Fembots in Las Vegas is the third episode of season 3. I know it was more than 2 seasons. Season 3 of the Bionic Woman.
Well, Well, obviously, apparently, I can't use a $6 million Man episode with them. Now, I might use one of the $6 million Man episodes where Steve Austin goes undercover and like he has a mustache.
I don't remember.
Like he would put on a mustache because he was undercover.
I don't remember that.
My name is Austin Stevenson, and I am a politician here to check on what's going on.
First of all, how can you already have one of the flyest spy names ever as Lee Majors?
Right. Lee Majors as Steve Austin.
It don't sound like it should be the other way
Right,
around.
right.
I'm like,
Right.
it don't make sense.
I feel like Lee Majors might be a stage name.
No,
That's his name.
I'm pretty sure
That's his actual name.
So now you got me looking at
All
it.
right.
I'm
We're gonna
sure.
come back because
I'm
I feel like we were drifting into.
We were drifting into more interesting territory.
Yeah.
Lee Majors. Oh wow, that's not his name.
It sounds like a stage name.
That is not his name.
What's his name?
You will never
Nope.
guess.
I sure
his
won't,
name.
and I'm not even going to try.
Lee Majors,
But I bet I'm not going to be surprised when you tell me.
who was born in 1939.
Okay.
He was born Harvey Lee Yeary.
That this all makes very, very, very much sense to me.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I would have never called that.
Mm-hmm.
I would have never called
He doesn't look like his Christian name was Lee Majors.
Mm-mm. I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess so. All right.
So there you go. I'll watch Spider-Man 2, and then I'll find an episode of the.
No, you gotta watch the first Spider-Man. The first Amazing Spider-Man.
Because it's. I thought you want me to watch the second one.
No, it's the first one that's good.
Okay, I'll watch the first one, and then I'll get you an episode of the $6 Million Man that doesn't have Bigfoot. It doesn't have well, apparently none of the Finbots were on that, but he will be in disguise though.
But you say it's a good one.
That I think is a solid example of the $6 Million Man.
Okay.
And I guarantee you there won't be that many bionics, but it's just
I'm sure.
because it never is.
And what there is doesn't show up to the
Right,
last 5
right.
minutes.
Most of it's just cool ass Lee Majors going around and doing stuff, investigating. He's investigating.
I know.
All right, so there you go.
It's interesting when you think about it, because again, when I was doing these clips, that he had the bionic eye, the bionic arm,
And the legs.
and the bionic legs,
Yeah.
which made him run super fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yet
60 miles an hour.
to show him running fast,
Right.
it was in slow motion.
It's one of the greatest innovations in special effects ever.
Because as I was watching these clips, I was like, this is really slow.
Do you remember maybe because remember they said they had 6 TV, and then we really do have to go ahead and finish up with the movie. They had like 6 TV movies, but do you remember one of the later ones when his son got involved?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. I never watched any
Any of the TV
of the
movies? You weren't
No.
you weren't
No.
you weren't a real fan.
Okay.
They showed in one of the later ones, at least one of them, his son is bionic as well. But because his son had newer bionics,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like the far future of like 1992, they used special effects and they showed his legs moving real fast.
Mm-hmm.
And then they used the original effects with Steve Austin with the slow-mo. But somehow
it worked.
Steve Austin looked faster.
Well, because the special effects are a little bit better now.
Dude, you do the slow motion and you play that music?
That's what it is.
That's all the special effects you need.
And you hear
Doom, 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 doom.
and then he's got the one eyebrow popping as he turns the corner.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
We are children once again.
Dude.
ladies and gentlemen.
They said we can rebuild him.
We have the technology.
We have the dude. I was like 5 years old. I was like, science is the greatest thing ever.
We can make him bigger,
Faster,
stronger,
faster.
faster.
Oh my God. I was like, science is the best.
That was the closest we had to a superhero, ladies and
Man.
gentlemen, in the 70s.
1999, we gonna live on the moon? This is it right here. I'm so happy to be alive when I'm alive.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. I watched the show faithfully. I watched the show faithfully.
All right, ask me the question.
With all that being said, Vincent, we know you would recommend The $6 Million Man. Would you recommend The Liberation of L.B. Jones?
You know what? With all of the technical faults and production issues that we have discussed, I honestly believe the story is strong enough to warrant the hour and 40-minute investment.
Okay.
So I would recommend it. And you?
I think it's a hard watch. From a production value, as well as from, the performance is notwithstanding, the story will make you sick. About some of the things that happen in this movie. So it's hard for me to say that it's worth watching, but I gotta say I probably would recommend people sitting watching it. Yeah. Not necessarily for the performances, but just for the history of it.
Right.
For the history of it, I would recommend seeing it.
Right.
People sitting down with The Liberation of L.B. Jones.
All right. 2 recs.
There you go. 2 recommendations, ladies and gentlemen. The Fembots were also in Austin Powers.
Yes.
There you go.
And I really like them in them.
No, I don't.
Like, hey.
But at least I don't think their faces came off in Austin Powers.
I don't know. Remember, like, all right, we really do have to go. Like, I didn't even want to talk about the Bigfoot thing, and then come to find out Bigfoot wasn't actually Bigfoot. Remember, Bigfoot was a robot that the aliens had planted.
Oh, was that the story? Like, I don't remember the storyline at all. I just remember.
Okay, I remember it being really intense at like 5 years old. Like, I was like, this is really too intense for me right now. I just remember it enough so that when the Venture Brothers reference it, I got all the
references. Got all the references, yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
All right.
Before we tell you about what we're going to be reviewing next week, ladies and gentlemen, and our very special guests.
Yes.
Next week, I invite you to check out the Micheaux Mission, 2 Men, 1 podcast, every black film ever made. Go to micheauxmission.com where you can hit swag and check out all of the cool designs and gifts that we have available to you by way of our good friends at T Public. Also, you can leave us a voicemail. Give us a call at 215-867-9666. That's 215-867-9666. Tell Vincent and Len what is on your mind. Or if you feel so inclined, leave us an email.
Yes.
Drop us an email at micheauxmission@gmail.com. That's micheauxmission@gmail.com. You can follow the Micheaux Mission on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Micheaux Mission. Subscribe to the Micheaux Mission on YouTube. Thank you for each and every one of you who subscribe. We get more and more subscribers every day. YouTube.com/Micheaux Mission. And wherever you check out our glorious podcast, please feel free to give us a 5-star rating and a review, especially if it's on Spotify or Apple, because that helps other people find our show, which is a proud member of The Podglomerate, thepodglomerate.com. We make podcasts work. All right. Next week, we are going to announce our next live screening.
All right.
Which will be coming up just in 1 month. Ladies and gentlemen, so look forward to that news dropping next week. And don't forget, if you are a fan of Kindred, the Octavia Butler masterpiece that has been adapted into an 8-episode miniseries on FX and Hulu, Tune in this Thursday to Ripples in Time, our Kindred podcast live, as we will be reviewing episodes 5 and 6 of that series, 7 p.m. Eastern. Vince, me, Ariel, Charlene, sitting down to have a conversation. Thank you for all of you that have been tuning into that show. And we've been having a great time bringing that Cinelady conversation your way. All right. Next week on the Micheaux Mission, Vincent, we have a very special guest as we are continuing our look at women in media here in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So next week we are journeying to the halls of Word Radio, WURD here in Philadelphia,
Hey.
for Andrea Lawful Saunders' selection, A Thin Line Between Love and Hate.
Oh.
From 1996, starring Martin Lawrence and Lynn Whitfield, with our very special guest, Andrea Lawful Sanders of The Source on Word Radio.
I believe it also features an extended performance by the king of R&B, Bobby Brown.
I forgot. Is he in that movie?
How did you forget that Robert Brown of the Massachusetts Browns is in this film?
I totally forgot about it. I can't wait to be reminded of that when I watch this movie.
Yes.
I can't wait for that. All right. So that's coming your way next week, ladies and gentlemen, sponsored by Hurricane here on the show.
You better be easy with them hurricanes.
Oh, I can't wait for next week.
Okay. All right.
Until then, he's Vincent, I'm Len, and in parting, we say,
We'll see you when it's time.